So today I want to talk about James 1, verse 3, the testing of our faith, trials, and hardships, because life can be so hard. And it's just like such a different perspective change, you know. So in James 1, verse 3, he says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you encounter various trials, knowing the testing of your faith brings perseverance, and let perseverance have a perfect work, so you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." So where do we turn to when we feel like we're in such emotional distress, deep pain, you don't see things happening? You know, I'm like soft-hearted, so I cry through my pain because I just always get it out before God. But there was like a time where I would just like try and rescue situations in my own strength, and I would go by my emotions, and it just left me feeling so exhausted mentally, physically, and spiritually. So I had to really learn to do it God's way, because there'd be times I would just fret the whole weekend. I would just let this thing consume me, and that's all I would think about. I would even leave family dinners to go and try and rescue things. And you know what? It's just not the way to do it. And so this is like a total perspective change. And when he says count it all joy, when we encounter various trials, the joy here means contentment rooted in God's grace, his promises of his word, rather than my circumstance. And joy is a fruit of the Spirit. So it's focusing on God when I'm going through something and I don't see it. It's like I choose, God, to trust you when I don't see it. You know, when you're dealing with somebody in addiction, or somebody hurts you, or maybe we make mistakes and I cause my own trial, you know, but what are we going to choose? Are we going to choose faith in God and believing his word, or are we going to focus inward instead? Because our faith can either grow forward, or we can fall back. But it says in the Bible that the righteous get up and they keep going when they fall. So walking in faith and not by sight, knowing that God's grace is sufficient for us and his power is made perfect in our weakness. He says, my power is made perfect in your weakness. And so when you feel weak, that's when he's strong, when we stay connected to him. And so perseverance means, am I committed to keep my eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of my faith, or am I going to let it on the circumstances and let it sink me? And this is like such a discipline. It's really, you know, choosing to go to the word and get into him instead of dwelling on the circumstance. You know, Jesus, he didn't quit on us, and he sweat drops of blood. He was in such deep anguish. But he went to that cross so we could stay connected to him, so we could rise above the circumstances and say, God, you are good in the good and the bad, even though I don't see. I'm going to choose to trust you. And Psalm 34 says, he's near to the brokenhearted, and he is close to those who are crushed in spirit. So if you are hurting today, he is close to you. And that's a wonderful promise, knowing that he is there to help us. So trials, the perspective changes, count it all joy, trusting in him, so we can keep persevering, and so he can have his complete perfect work in us, so we don't get weary, so we can know that he is our everything, that we can have greater faith, that we can have greater strength, that we can trust in him. It's consistently doing the right action in faith, trusting God. And then we start to bear fruit. And it's like now when things go wrong, and the same things that went wrong way back there, I'm quick to go into a room and just pray through it. It's like, God, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to fear, because we're either going to walk in fear or faith. And you know, the enemy wants to pull us away from God. That's what he wants to do, is pull our heart away from him. So we focus on everything going on and not him. And so it is a real disciplining your pursuit. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. Knowing that God is control, his timing is perfect, and Jesus is everything I know. And just meditate, like we've been learning in prayer. Meditate on who God is. God, you are almighty. You are all I need. You are healer. You are my peace. You are the great I am. You will provide. You are omnipresent. And just knowing who he is helps us get through the trials and look at where he's brought us and where you are now, and it's easier to get through them. So I just want to encourage you, count it all joy that this is going to grow your faith, because that's why we go through them, is to see where our faith is going to be and grow, right? So I hope that encouraged you.